Hello, I've been thinking about making this video for a little while, but it's going to be a video explaining a couple of little tips that mapmakers can use to improve their videos, if they make videos or maps. Just little tips. So here we go. The first thing I would do if I was to be making a map would be to change all the game rules. So game rule. And then all of these are little things that you can change that change the way the map will work. So I'll flick through them and explain what they do. Command block output will be, so if I have a command block that's running a command, if command block output's set to true, it'll output, every single command block that's running will output its command into chat, which can get quite annoying if you've got loads of command blocks running. So I generally change that to false. Next one is daylight cycle, which is, I believe, been added fairly recently. Might be 1.7, might be 1.8. I can't remember that one, but it's been added fairly recently. If you set it to false, it'll stop the time going through. So you can set it to day, and it'll always be day. And then if you change the time to night, it'll always be night. Fire tick is very useful. If you change that to false, it'll stop fire from burning stuff. So you can have fires next to wood and stuff, and they won't burn, which is very useful because you don't have to worry about things burning. But it does also mean that if you want stuff burning, it won't burn. So that one you've got to change depending on what kind of map you're making. Personally, I change it to false straight away. Okay, do mob loot. Changes whether mobs drop items. So if I was to set that to false, whatever I would kill would only drop XP orbs. They wouldn't drop any items. So again, that was going to be depending on what you want in the map. Do mob spawning will change whether hostile mobs spawn. So zombies, creepers, any kind of hostile creature will, if you change that to false, will stop spawning. Whereas pigs and helpful creatures will continue spawning. It won't kill ones that are already in the world. It will only stop ones that are going to spawning. Do tile drops is depending on whether, so if you have a falling sand falling onto a half slab, the sand item won't drop. Same with if you have a redstone. If you have redstone on a block and you break the block, the redstone won't drop. Keep inventory. This one I personally always set to true. If you want to then change it back for the actual map, you can change it back later. This one basically changes whether, so if I was to kill myself with items in my inventory, I wouldn't drop the items, I would keep them when I respawn, which you can also kind of use if you want to cheat and survive a little bit. Log admin commands is similar to the first one, the command block output, but if log admin commands is set to false, none of the commands will be output to the console in the server. The command output will still output it to the console, just not to chat. Mob griefing depends whether mainly creepers explode. So if a creeper was to explode, it wouldn't do any damage to the world, but TNT would still damage the world. It's only creepers that affects. Natural regeneration is whether your health points increase over time. So if you've got food in your hunger bar, then normally your health points would increase. But if natural regeneration is set to false, then that won't increase, which can be used for maps, stuff like ultra hardcore, where you need to eat a golden apple to regain health points. Random tick speed has been added in the 1.8 snapshots recently. It changes to how quickly stuff decays. So like if you had a tree placed down, and you change random tick speed up to a really high number, it would decay very quickly. If you changed it to 0, the trees wouldn't ever decay. By default, it's set to 3, so this one isn't a true and false. Show death messages changes whether the message shown is displayed or not. The next thing I would do when I'm setting up a map is changing the weather to clear. So if we go weather clear, and then put a number after, so the highest number you can go to is 1,000,000. Which is 1,000,000 ticks, which is about 13 hours. I believe that is broken in 1.7, but it's fixed in the snapshots. So now we've set up the map. The next ones are tips to help you, things you possibly may or may not know. The more high-end users will probably know quite a few of these, if not all of them. So here we go. You can use tab to autofill stuff. You may have seen me already doing it, but if I want to change my game mode to adventure mode, I can type in /G tab, and it'll automatically pick stuff which begins with G. So game mode is the first one that it comes to, because that's the first alphabetical one it comes to. And then I press space and tab, and it'll flick through all the different possibilities. So survival, creative, adventure, spectator, which has been added in 1.8. So I can change myself to adventure, press enter, and I change myself to adventure, and then back to creative by pressing tab again. Okay, the next one, most people will probably know, but if you press / and then press up, you can flick through all the previous commands that you've run. The next thing I've got is copying and pasting. If you've got a pretty long command, such as this, you can press shift and then the arrow keys and select text. If I wanted this command to be pasted into a command block, because you can't use the tab functionality in command blocks, but you can in chat, you can type it out in chat, shift, and then the arrow keys to select it, then Control-C, and then you can paste it into a command block by using Control-V. The next thing I've got for you is selectors. So if I was to go teleport, at A is teleport will select all players. At P will select the closest player to where the command is run. At R will select a random person. And the new one they've added in 1.8 is at E, which will select entities. So if I wanted to teleport all entities to myself, I can do that, and that'll teleport every entity in the world to myself, which possibly wasn't a good idea. The next thing, and I'm chucking it in here simply because I've got a couple of subscribers or subscriptions, I subscribe to them, that do it, and it constantly annoys me. So when you're typing in teleport, if I wanted to teleport myself to a person called hello, then all I have to do is teleport hello, and it will automatically teleport me to them. Then you don't have to worry about which order you put the names in. The next thing I've got is if you were to type in /? and then the name of the command, so if I had game mode, and then I pressed enter, it would give you everything that you need to know about that command. That can be done for any command. The next one, combined with that, is help. /help will give you each command. So if you don't know any of the commands, you can just type /help, and then read through, and it'll give you all the different commands there are. If I was to go /help 2, it'll do the next page, and then 3, and so on and so on. If you get stuck on that, there's the Minecraft wiki, which will explain every command in probably more detail. Go check that out. It's a very good resource. I use it quite a bit. Okay, 2 more to go. If I was to look at my inventory at the moment, you can just see that it just says the names. If I was to press F3 and H at the same time, and then look back in my inventory, you'll see it lists the name of the item as well, which really does help. I mean, it gives you the number value as well. The last thing I have for you is custom heads. Give closest player skull. You want to give yourself one of them with a data value of 3, so it's a human skull. You'll then want to have this NBT data at the end, which is open curly bracket, skull owner, with skull and owner being capitalized the first letter and no space between them. And then you want a colon, and then an open quote above the 2. And then you want to put the person's name in here. So if I want to give myself my own skull, and then I can just press enter, and I'll give myself a skull, which is my own name. This can be very useful for custom maps. You can either search for someone's skin, or there's a Reddit page with a giant collection of skulls. If you want something specific, there's a search bar, you can search. And if there's anything that's been posted to the website, it'll come up. And there'll be a name, you just copy that name and then paste it into where I just put my name here. And click enter, and that will give you the skull. This is another source for heads that I go to quite a bit. This is the name of it. I'll probably put a link to it in the description. Go check them out. This is the server I was talking about. They have a giant collection of different heads. They are categorized by these. There's a load of food. I've used a few of those in another map I'm making. Decoration blocks, like this one can be used as a chimney. They have loads of stuff. It continues going, but I would recommend this server if you want to try and find some heads. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you stay around and watch some more videos. Goodbye.